Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. In today's video, we are going to be doing a reading and energy update for our beautiful collective here on YouTube. So I'm just going to start off the reading today by talking about some of what I've been feeling coming through in the energy. And first of all, something that's been coming through really strongly is a lot of anxiety. Now, it's interesting because I'm seeing this image of the sun breaking through the clouds. So I also heard the sun breaking through the trees. So maybe that imagery is somehow more relevant for someone. But really, what I'm getting here is this sense that there is like this dense fog or this dense kind of forest around us, and this sensation of being a bit lost, feeling a bit caught in a dismal situation, or maybe if it's not a literal physical situation, then this is actually a mental state. This could be a mentality that feels like a fog, that feels like walking through a forest. I just saw the number 444 as I was recording, so that number in itself might be significant to someone. Now, you guys know that when these numbers do come up in the readings, I'd like to channel messages from them. So this card can signify support and guidance from guardian angels, indicating that you're on the right path towards your goals. I just feel that someone listening here has really needed that love, support, and guidance at this time, that sense of confirmation, because there is that feeling of wandering through the dark or walking through this forest or through this fog. Now, I'm really curious what this kind of sunlight breaking through the fog or breaking through the trees actually is. And right as I kind of mentally expressed that curiosity, we got the Four of Wands card. So this is my most powerful union or reunion card. This is a really beautiful card for coming together with others, either one specific other person or coming together with a community in a general sense. So I'm getting a message from this particular card. It seemed as though your journey outwards and your commitment to expand and discover have been worth it. So maybe you're in the middle of a situation where you've made certain choices or certain commitments to your own expansion, to your own spiritual journey, and you might be questioning whether you've made the right choices. I'm hearing the word scary, so there may have been a scary element to jumping into some of these choices or decisions. I got the name Charles for someone. Also, the name Roberta or Robert, or maybe letters that go along with that. Now, of course, whenever I channel specific names, dates, details, or other pieces of information like that, I especially recommend really using your intuition. I keep getting the letters T, Y, and L, so those could be letters in someone's first or last name also. I also saw something about water signs or the sign of Aquarius. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue with the messages here. So the next card that we have here is the Two of Pentacles. So it's almost as though what the guides are showing me is what the sunlight is breaking through the clouds here. So you're in this situation, this circumstance, or this mindset that feels really dismal, that feels really uncertain. And yet the sun breaking through the clouds is this community that you're manifesting or building, which again also could be a literal union or reunion with a particular person. And also this sense of balancing out. I'm hearing giving value where you're getting value back. So you may be in a shifting situation. I heard shifting sands for some reason. Maybe sand holds some significance, or maybe the imagery of sand is meant to remind us that everything is temporary, that if you're going through something difficult, this is going to pass. I'm also hearing something about the sands of time, so that might be relevant to someone listening. I'm getting this sense that you've had to make certain commitments that felt kind of like facing fears or jumping into something that revolved around going where you're really being valued or putting your worth, time, and value into things where you're actually getting meaningful value out of them. Now, I am hearing as well that the way you define value in the world or in your work or relationships or your life may look very different or very unconventional compared to others. And if that is the case, I feel that you're really meant to be embracing that as well. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pull a couple more cards here because I'm really curious what you are currently going through or experiencing, or anyone who's currently connected to your energy. Now, I will let you know, I actually meant to say this at the beginning of this video, but I jumped right into the messages and completely forgot. But I wanted to tell you that I am actually away from my usual setup. I don't have some of my typical decks that I work with, including the Rumi deck, which you guys know I love pulling cards from at the end of these readings. So do bear with me. I will have my usual setup of decks and my typical tarot cards very soon. But for now, I am using different decks here, mostly just the traditional tarot. So if the reading has a little bit of a different vibe or atmosphere to it, that may be why. But of course, there will be more of those typical style reading videos very soon as well. I also want to let you know that if you do feel a resonance here, I will be continuing this reading onto our Patreon community, our soul tribe on Patreon. Thank you to all of you who are members there. And if you do feel like these messages are connecting for you and you'd like to go deeper into the messages, then you can always explore that extended reading on Patreon by clicking the link in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. I got the numbers 8 and 10. I also just heard something in general about the month of August. This could be someone's birth month. I'm getting there could be some Leo energy in someone's chart. I'm also seeing an elephant and also a baby, like a newborn baby for some reason. So some of that might be connecting for you. But here from the traditional tarot, we have the Tower. Now, it makes sense that this would be coming up on your current energy because we've been channeling into some of the fog, some of the density, and the chaos that you might be feeling. But I do sense that the guides also want to highlight something here. Well, really, two messages are already coming out from this card. But firstly, the first message is not everything you're experiencing around this tower energy is actually you or your core baseline energy, meaning that you are empathically picking up on a collective kind of intensity, a collective on edge feeling or anxiety. I'm seeing someone like biting their nails. It's like this sense of being very on edge that you're picking up on. But the interesting thing is that, well, first of all, I have to channel another message here from someone's guides because someone has a spirit guide coming through so strongly to say, you have this habit of saying that there must be something wrong with me, or there's something wrong with me, or why am I getting emotional out of the blue, and almost beating yourself up for anxious feelings that move through you like waves on an ocean, when in actuality, those feelings are often collective signals in a sense that you are picking up on empathically. They're not even necessarily yours. You, in essence, are being used as a sort of filter or a vessel to assist the collective in processing out a very heavy, very dense, very intense energy. And so don't be hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up when you're feeling these heavy things, these emotions, these even feelings of grief or mourning that seem to not really be attached to anything concrete, that might seem to just come out of nowhere. Do your best not to judge yourself. I'm hearing not to judge yourself even for judging yourself. I guess that's kind of the next step. It's like, yes, not to judge yourself for having these experiences, but also not to be so hard on yourself even when you do actually find yourself being a little bit critical of yourself. I know this is getting a bit kind of heady or high level here in this conversation, but I just saw the number 1111, so I know that this is in alignment for someone. But I feel as though this tower moment, again, it's something that's taking place collectively, and I'm seeing a crack in a foundation. But for some reason, I feel like the crack in this foundation was hidden and it's now being revealed. So, wow, that's an interesting message. Maybe there's a crack in a foundation of your life, your work, a relationship, a person, something that was faulty. I'm getting like a lot was built upon a foundation that had a crack in it that nobody really knew about. And now that's being exposed or revealed. That crack is coming to the surface here to prevent the whole tower from collapsing. But it can be extremely alarming when that crack in the foundation is revealed. I'm hearing you have choices as to how you react or respond to this energy, whether you are allowing it to just generate huge amounts of fear and anxiety that can actually almost keep you, I'm hearing, locked out. I'm almost hearing like something about when a joint gets locked out and you feel like you can't move, feeling kind of stuck because of this fear response to this energy. Or you can allow the tower moment, the illumination of this crack in the foundation, to be just that, an illumination that actually allows you to build an even stronger, more stable foundation that can support limitless growth in a really sustainable way. Now, of course, I could be talking about your life, your work, your relationships. It's so interesting to me because in the last collective reading, you guys know who often watch the channel, but I do these collective readings on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But in the most recent one, we got incredibly specific, and I know that a lot of you really connected with those specific romantic messages coming through that reading. In fact, I don't think I've hardly picked up on such a specific thread of energy and channeled into it so intensely and deeply, especially in a collective reading. So if something about that is piquing your interest, by the way, I do recommend after this video going and exploring that last reading, especially if you've been dealing with a confusing romantic situation. But I almost feel as though now, immediately after that reading, we're being given this incredibly broad, incredibly more generalized reading, almost to put that thread of energy into perspective. There's something about a dynamic that you're dealing with that feels incredibly intense, personal, and specific, being fitted into a bigger picture. So maybe part of what this reading is about is creating a backdrop or a context for a lot of those more specific threads of energy that will come through other reading videos, both in the past, but also futuristically, although of course from a quantum perspective, there is no past or future. It's all occurring simultaneously in the now. So right there in itself, maybe that was a message for someone. Maybe there's something you're experiencing now that's actually in linear time, something that happened in the past or the future. I'm hearing timeline hopping, so you might actually feel as though you're kind of hopping or moving between different timelines, like things are kind of merging or blurring together. I'm hearing we've fallen in the gap between timelines. Maybe that's the crack in this foundation. It's like this void that we're sitting in to become familiar with, this gap between timelines. Interesting. I know that we're getting so quantum in this reading. I feel that this reading is meant through the words here selected and through the language to actually trigger some kind of knowing within you that's very deep, that's very concrete, but the process of triggering that knowing may actually be very subtle and very personal to you. So keep that in mind as you're listening to this particular reading video. Okay, so what else can I channel here for the collective? Okay, we have the Three of Swords. I'm hearing knowing your worth is bringing a level of heartbreak or grief. You've leveled up in a sense. And I feel that this message is going to get very specific. I got the name Arthur for someone. Maybe it's actually author. Maybe someone's a writer. Maybe this is reminding you in a more metaphoric sense that you are the author of your story and you're taking that control of your life and rewriting a narrative. I'm hearing something about going back to the same places that you cried and laughing in those places. I know there's a cliche about that, but I feel there's something literal here about it, where it's almost like you are revisiting places that you cried, either literally or more symbolically, where you experienced a lot of pain, a lot of trauma, a lot of hardship. You're re-entering those places and spaces and infusing in them empowerment, positive energy, positive emotion, maybe even literal laughter. Again, this could be actually going back to a literal location where you had a really difficult time in the past and creating positive memories or laughter or fun in those physical environments. But I'm getting in some cases, this could be individuals that you used to have. This is so complex and deep, but there might be people that in the past you were trauma bonded to or you had a connection with, where the two of you were connecting from a totally different, maybe lower vibrational state. And now it's like you're reconnecting with those people or things from your past, but this time in a more positive way. You're bringing an entirely new energy to them, and in doing so, you're healing yourself in the quantum realm, because there's a quantum healing taking place when you revisit past places, spaces, people, versions of yourself, and change the narrative around them through creating new positive energetic experiences around that person, place, or thing. It's like you're transmuting that energy through what you're creating in those places or with those people in the now. And this is healing you on a quantum level because, again, the past and the future are illusory. It's all happening in the now. They're energies that we're holding on to and bringing into the now. So when we transmute the energy of our past, we alter our experience, the lens of our perception of the now, of the present, but we also alter the trajectory of what we consider to be our future. So our past, present, and future selves are all collaborating and interrelated, and I just feel that somehow that's really been coming to the forefront of your healing journey emotionally at this time. But I do feel that somehow I'm hearing truth serum. It's like you've been given truth serum. Interesting. So it's almost as though you are unable at this point to deny that something is true, to deny that you are worth a certain kind of care, love, and support, to deny how you're feeling, how you've been feeling about someone or something that maybe you tried to bury or you tried to deny for a long time. I feel that your throat chakra energy has become so strong that No untruths can survive within you. You can't help but exude this energy of truth. And at times, I feel that this energy of truth, this kind of truth serum, as we're calling it, actually brings forth realizations that initially might feel a little bit emotionally painful. Now, specifically, I do keep picking up that there may be another person involved here. So there might be someone romantically, especially from your past, or maybe from your present, who doesn't necessarily like that you've come into this realization of your own worth and value. And what I'm getting about this, I got the name Catherine, maybe the name Kyle for someone. I'm also picking up some Taurus and Pisces energy. I'm seeing the image of a sun. This can be about a masculine going through a very powerful awakening. I'm also hearing a fast awakening, so maybe this is someone who resonates more so with their internal divine masculine energy. And I'm seeing the word signs, so they might be seeing a lot of signs about you going through a very fast awakening. But at the same time, this is someone who's almost uncomfortable or been uncomfortable with the realization. Maybe even this realization created their spiritual awakening wake up call here, so to speak, that's happening very quickly. But they've been uncomfortable as you've really leveled up your sense of worth and value in the world. And what I'm getting is this isn't something superficial. So this leveling up, as we're calling it, that you've undergone, it's not something that you put on like an appearance. It's not some specific way that you are trying to behave or to speak. It's actually a very deep core shift in your energy. And it's been something that you've been gradually working on, but for some reason, this gradual work that you've been doing behind the scenes for a long time is now fully coming to the surface in a way that's becoming more visible to others. Others are beginning to now perceive your worth and value differently. I'm getting the word confidence, so they might be specifically perceiving you as a much more confident person as a result of these gradual but very, very deep energetic shifts that you've been making within yourself. Now, the affirmation on the Three of Swords card is, some truths are painful, but they are what I needed to hear. But when I said that, I almost felt like you were hearing something from your inner self that was almost painful for you to hear from your own truth, to realize something about how you've been feeling about a person, a job, a situation, something in your life. It's almost like this inner truth you'd been trying to bury is now screaming at the surface. There's no ignoring it, there's no denying it or pretending it isn't there. And it's almost painful, but it's also healing. It's like this weight has been lifted as you fully integrate and accept this truth and allow the shedding of the skin from the past, allow the feelings of grief and mourning, allow this processing to take place, because on the other side of all of that, there is this sense of lightness and a more deep connection to that inner truth that's been trying to reach you for a while, but I feel now you're hearing so consciously. Okay, so can I get more information on this inner truth? Well, the next card we have, ooh, this is very interesting. The Eight of Pentacles. So it's almost like this inner truth was brought to the surface because of a contrast. So you realized that more was possible or more was available to you through your connection with some other kind of person, thing, or experience. So, of course, this could apply in so many different ways in your life, but I'm just getting that your horizons were broken open somehow. And I feel that if this is a love situation, you've encountered or you've come into some kind of cognizance of a person or an energy that is incredibly secure within themselves, that's very motivated in their own life, that's building something that they're passionate or excited about, that the word partnership is coming up, like someone who, I got the name George for someone who really wants to be a partner with you, who wants to support you. It's like somehow I feel that you either realized internally that that is what you want out of a partner, and maybe there was someone romantic from your past who didn't align at all with any of that, but you were kind of settling for that energy because you just never really fully consciously considered that more was possible. So maybe this was an internal realization, or maybe there actually was someone external that you encountered or met. Now, this person that you may have encountered or met or seen may not necessarily, for everyone listening, be that person that you are truly aligned with on all levels, that you truly connect with on a soul level, that you desire to be with. Now, of course, for some of you, that may be that person. For others of you, you've either met someone or multiple people who have given you the gift of showing you that you don't have to settle, showing you that more is possible and accessible for you, showing you traits of what you are desiring in your ideal love connection. Now, of course, we're kind of applying this energy specifically to love because I do feel it will resonate that way for many of you. But for some of you, you could take this to be, for example, career. Maybe you've been exploring a lot of different business pathways or different kinds of motivational materials or ways to go with your life, and maybe you've not landed on exactly what feels 100% aligned with you on all levels. Now, of course, rest assured that is absolutely coming for you. But if you haven't yet connected with that, then know that all of these people, things, and experiences that come into your life that maybe don't contain within themselves every aspect of what you're desiring, bless them regardless, because they are manifestations that are helping you to expand your horizons and more consciously define to yourself exactly what kind of frequency you want to align with to attract the ideal thing, person, or situation that really fulfills all of your desires at all levels. And so some of what you're attracting in right now might actually be a bit confusing because for some of you listening, you may feel as though, again, whether it's in love, in life, in work, that you are attracting in different opportunities, scenarios, things that might initially excite you, but then kind of fizzle out, or maybe they're not what you thought they were, or they don't quite fulfill everything you're looking for, but there was like that initial excitement. And I'm hearing rather than becoming incredibly disappointed and like shutting down and closing off and thinking, I must not be manifesting right. See these as signs along your pathway to manifesting that absolutely ideal thing because they are helping you to define in clearer form exactly what that ideal is for you. Again, whether it's a relationship, a job, or something else in your life that you are manifesting. So, let's see what else I can channel through for those of you who are listening to this reading. We have the Knight of Pentacles. This card has been coming out a lot. This patient, perseverant energy of someone or something that wants to make you an offer. Something kind of waiting in the wings here. I feel for many of you, this is that ideal. This is interesting. There is a message on this card that says, when we meet the Knight of Pentacles, he will most surely be at work, for he carries wherever he goes some responsibility that he cannot bear to leave behind. Thus, the energy latent within the Knight of Pentacles is developed into action. Where others may fear responsibility, this Knight feels a great duty to his work. In a relationship, this can relate to groundedness, stability, reliability, and commitment, showing up for you in every way, every day. And I really feel as though that's exactly the kind of energy that you're attracting in. Someone who is really showing up for you in every sense, someone who's very steady, very reliable, very committed to showing you viscerally, tangibly how they feel about you. Again, if you're talking about something connecting with you in love, if this isn't love related, this is something in your life that you can really rely upon that feels steady, but it's also deeply connected to your heart space. And I'm hearing actually illuminates your heart in the process. And part of how you'll recognize this person, thing, or opportunity is actually through the way that you will feel it illuminating and connecting with your heart. I'm hearing you might not recognize it physically or even super consciously, but you will recognize this thing, this Knight of Pentacles, this ideal, so to speak, because not only will it reveal to you over time that it fulfills everything you've been desiring consciously and subconsciously, but also, and maybe most importantly and significantly, it will connect with your heart chakra in such a way that actually lights up your energy. I'm seeing something around the mouth. Maybe this is a smile or like a glow about you. It will feel as though your energy is illuminated with a love because of how this person or this thing's energy interacts with yours and again connects with your heart. And I feel this is almost something that other people would notice. Like, for example, if this is a person that you would be with or walking around with, other people might even comment that you have a glow about you or that you make a really good couple, or it's like what they're actually noticing is this soft, light, illuminated, beautiful energy around both of you that actually affects the environments that you enter into together and interact with. I keep channeling into this as though it's a love situation, but I know that won't necessarily be the case for everyone. I just feel like it's coming through in that sense for many of you listening. Now, regardless, I really hope something from this reading has been connecting from you, for you, rather, in a personal way. If so, I would love to hear from you in the comments under the video. I am going to be continuing this reading on Patreon, so we're going to be taking a deeper look into how this energy might be interacting with you, the energy of this ideal person, thing, or opportunity. We will also be channeling through any other messages, details, or pieces of information that want to come through for the collective connecting with this reading. So again, the link to access the extended Patreon reading is in the pinned comment and description box underneath the video. Otherwise, I am so grateful to all of you for being here. Thank you so much for tuning in here. I know I don't have the Rumi Oracle, but I'm actually going to go ahead and channel a Rumi quote by searching on Google for one and then kind of closing my eyes and seeing where I land. Wow, okay, this quote, guys, I glanced at this and tears immediately filled my eyes because this feels so resonant with so much of what we were talking about at the beginning of the reading. And I feel it's going to connect really deeply with someone listening here. The quote is, "If everything around you seems dark, look again. You may be the light." Rumi. So I'm going to leave the reading there. Thank you again for sharing your light, which I guess is a fitting way to say it, considering the Rumi quote at the end here. Thank you for sharing your energy, and I would love to hear from you in the comments if you'd like to participate with this community. Of course, I also invite you to subscribe to the channel, join our beautiful community of like-minded, conscious, creative beings here on YouTube. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself, where I post more energy updates, inspiration, and information. Have a beautiful remainder of your week, and I will connect with you here again in Friday's reading.